what pro tips for operations would you think that individual investors could use or learn from the institutional side?
First, AI, AI, AI. I know it's the buzzword, it's what everyone's talking about. But at my corporate job, I have teams that I can collaborate with, right? People that can help with marketing, people that can
Mhm.
help with finance and vendors and accounts payable, people that can help with collections and receivables, people that can help with leasing, analytics. When you're a company of one building your own portfolio, you will not have an analyst or an
Right.
AP clerk or an accountant. You might go have a service where you third party and you hire out for that. But all of those expenses cost money. And
Mhm.
so my advice is to be dabbling with the LLMs that can help you produce documents so that you're not spending a lot of time on that operational minutia day to day. So having AI help you produce a standard rent collection statement or a way to process invoices that come in from vendors, crafting communications that go out to tenants when rent is due, or an email inbox that is dedicated to work order requests. So if somebody needs something done, a light bulb changed, a toilet is clogged, right? Having an easy way for those tenants to just send a quick email to communicate. Now, some more sophisticated investors will have portals where all this gets automatically logged. Like I said, when you're a party of one and you don't have a lot of money to spend on software, having the LLMs help you create these documents, this collateral, this initial flow, just so you can appear like a more professional organization at first, it'll help you get started. And then by doing that, you'll figure out where the holes are in your workflow. And there's
Right.
nothing like having to try to automate a workflow to learn all the little steps that go into said workflow and where that workflow fails.
Yes. And for people who are at that, solopreneur state of your real estate business right now, you have like, these ChatGPT, these tools like that to use. When I got started in 2013, I remember having to like create that initial lease in like Microsoft Office. I think I had like a few different leases that different like, some of my husband's coworkers who were real estate investors had, and they,
Yeah.
like, gave them to me, and so I was, like, using that to make one, like, master lease that was our style and vibe, and yeah, that thing took forever, and the tools now just make those things so much easier, and like you said, higher quality, you look more professional from the start. I love that.
And you can really treat those LLMs as like a virtual colleague that happens to have a couple PhDs. And the value is not like go in there, ask for something, have it spit it out, go about your day. The value is having a back and forth conversation with that LLM, whatever it may be, right? Typically, I use ChatGPT for research. I use Claude Cowork for financial model and other document building. And then I use Gemini because we're Google Shop to sift through my emails and Google Drive files to give me recommendations and reorient my day. But when you're doing that, the best action is to ask for something. And then before you make the ask, say, what do you need to know in order to give me the best result? And then all of a sudden the
Right.
LLM will say, here are all the questions you need to answer. And so you answer the questions you know you have the information on. And then if you don't, you're like, oh, I need to go hunt down some information. And then you may be using a different LLM to hunt down said information to automate and populate. And so now you have two LLMs working together. And it does sound overwhelming and complicated when you first start. But I guarantee you, like, this is like 30 minutes a day for a week. And like, you won't be a professional after that, but you will, it's like riding a bike. Once it becomes a habit, you'll be gold.
Yeah, it's funny because we're here in Vietnam and there's a big cafe culture here. So we'll go work from the cafes. And I'm like, if somebody was looking over my shoulder, they'd know that ChatGPT is my BFF.
Yeah.
We're there all the time. Love it. Now, of course, when people are just getting started, they really do have to get into the systemization, the procedures, using all the technology and everything like that, and using some data too. Do you have any other tips if we're gonna, because I want to transition to your own investing, but I'd like to say one, what else would you say in terms of like the systems and the procedures piece that you would recommend for solo investors based on what you've seen on the internal side?
Yeah. So one of the big common problems at large institutions is they often don't have the same definitions across departments for critical terms. So property might mean something different if you're in the acquisitions team versus the leasing team versus the accounting team versus the capital raising team. And that might become even more complicated if you invest in multiple property types. And then you invest across multiple geographic regions, maybe for multiple fund mandates, for different separate account limited partners. So as that complexity grows, so does the pressure to have a common definition at the corporate level on what is unit, what is asset, what is occupancy. When you're a solo practitioner, you won't have this problem at first, but it will be very important if you might be leveraging your own capital right now, but you might want to go, say, get a loan from a bank or an angel investor. You want to know the type of information they're going to need at the ready whenever they ask. So you're not spending a lot of time hunting down that information for them.
Right.
What is it they need to know if they're providing you a loan? Like if you're getting a mortgage on a house or a mortgage on a retail property or an industrial warehouse or office building, like what's the type of information you need to be providing every month or every quarter? Having all of that information easily stored somewhere digitally where you can add to it and you have an auditable footprint, that will help you a ton later. Because, personally, we almost never get audited because the IRS has been basically defunded. But businesses get audited all the time. And if you're being an investor, you are starting a business and you need to have all of that data in a place where you can store it and easily access it and easily define it. That is like paramount.